It was a different conversation, and I got, you know, I got 5 bad kilos of this and that and this and that. Any nigga, I'm shooting your kneecaps off, I'm shooting your daughter in the calf muscle. Yeah, it wasn't that kind of conversation. Right. It was like, hey, I'm good too. I'm strapped too. Yeah. You know what I mean? You got yours, I got mine too. Ain't nobody running over nobody here. Right. That was his conversation. But later on it became, yo, I'm gonna shoot this nigga and kill police and all that. It wasn't that extreme.
So that bothered you?
Okay, yeah, that bothered me, definitely. I knew it wasn't good for hip hop. You know what I mean? It might be good for rap music. You know, crack was out back then, and they were trying to sell more crack. So they used the music industry to help do that too, and to permeate that throughout our society and our culture.
I feel like we losing it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the people that are in control of what hip hop does is so white and so Jewish until they don't give a about what the culture and the craft and what it really is about. I don't know if the punks that's running these record labels, you know, that's in the powerful positions to dictate what the black community hears and listens to.
What it must feel like that now, you being Jewish, that, you know, once again, like Jewish guys run rap with Drake being on top right now, you coming. What does that feel like? You know, the Jewish guy is leading the rap game. First it was the business mechanics of it all. Now it's actually the creativity too. Now
I'm certainly not mad at it.
Yeah.
More power to the Jews. Like I enjoy
even more power.
I enjoy success. Like,
yeah.
You know,
you can tell me is that it's not a conspiracy against the blacks in hip hop, because you put out records that make us look stupid. You make us look dumb. You brainwash a generation. You brainwash a generation of hip hoppers with this, and then when these other rappers come out, splitting it down the middle, these other rappers cheeks sound like, wow, y'all are great. Y'all look stupid. Y'all look great. Y'all look stupid. Y'all look great.
Many wonder why black artists, music execs don't go fully independent and form their own distribution companies. Some have tried to form their own unions and have paid the price for having the nerve to go against the power structure.
You understand what I'm saying? Yes, sir. We have to look at Damon Dash. We have to look at Suge Knight. We have to look at Irv Gotti. And we have to look at Jay Prince. These 4 gentlemen that got together and was going to put up $30 million a piece to get and create their own distribution company to distribute black music. These people got together and said, we'll never let it happen. It'll happen over our dead bodies. All in 1 week, I'm telling you the short version of the story. All in 1 week, they raided the offices of these 4 brothers. I'm going to say them again. Damon Dash, Suge Knight, Irv Gotti, and Jay Prince out of Texas. The FBI raided their offices and confiscated their records and started piecing together cases against these brothers. Suge Knight, you already know his story.
Yeah.
You understand? Went through some court cases, ends up having a white Jewish woman, the owner now of everything that Death Row had put out. And I think she bought it for $22 million. No, $25 million. Ain't that something?
25.
She owns the entire catalog. I'm gonna have to get this woman's name so I can put it in my records. Irv Gotti, him and his brother, was brought up on charges, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Several years ago. And his thing was publicized because they raided his offices and tried to connect him to some mob ties and some drug dealing and that kind of thing.
Morris was the chief.
Okay,
He was the boss of Universal. The boss of bosses, Doug Morris. He's flying Irv and myself out every other week to L.A. Leo didn't treat us the right way.
Okay.
You know, and that was our guy. So they had Jimmy. We had Leo.
Yeah.
Nah, Leo had a big poster with 50 Cent in his office.
Wow.
That was the day. Listen to me.
Wait.
This is something no one understands. This is real. You're getting stuff that we never spoke about.
We getting facts right here.
Me and Irv walk in his office. We have a meeting. So on his wall, it's got to be bigger than this. He has a picture of him and 50. He's hugging 50, and he's giving the finger.
Wow.
And he tells us to turn around and look.
Oh, no, he didn't point the picture out. Like you could already see it.
He said, did you see that? He said, did you see my picture?
And Tommy Mottola is a devil.
And the now unreleased recordings of Michael Jackson. The King of Pop is said to have left behind a mountain of material. Music executive Tommy Mottola, who worked closely with Jackson at Sony Records for 15 years, considers himself the gatekeeper of Jackson's catalog. Tommy, good morning. It's good to see you.
Good morning, man.
He was in Brazil to shoot the music video for his song, They Don't Care About Us. Last year, he angered Jewish groups when he sang these words.
Do me, sue me, everybody do me, kick me, kite me, don't you black and white me.
Michael then gave in to pressure and changed the song. But in Brazil, the controversial lyrics were back, and he sang it this way. We showed footage of the video shoot to Rabbi Marvin Heyer, an activist for Jewish causes, who was outraged because last June, Jackson sent him a letter of apology for singing those lyrics.
I'm shocked. Jew me, sue me, kick me, kike me. Those are the words that he told us that he would never use again.
But when I say Jew me, sue me, everybody do me, kick me, kike me, don't you black or white me, I'm talking about myself as the victim. I'm so tired of it. They start out the most popular person in the world, make a lot of money, big house, cars, and everything, end up with penniless. It is conspiracy. The Jews do it on purpose.
Mama don't allow no rock and roll in here. Rock and roll in here. Mama don't allow no rock and roll in here.
Cultural arts, all the way back to the early beginnings of jazz music. It's just something that's always happened.
Right.
It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
The thing that makes Judaism dangerous to everybody, to every race, to every nation, to every idea, is that we smash things that aren't true. We don't believe in the boundaries of nation state. We don't believe in the ideas of these individual gods that protect individual groups of people. These are all artificial constructions, and Judaism really teaches us how to see that. In a sense, our detractors have us right, in that we are a corrosive force. We're breaking down the false gods of all nations and all people because they're not real. And that's very upsetting to people.
My mother is Jewish, so according to Jewish law, I'm Jewish, matrilineally speaking. That's their rules. One of the other...
I'm telling you, I own the central banks every day. I don't know what
We do run everything. Facts can't be racist, you know? Jews do, are vastly overrepresented in the media, vastly overrepresented in banking.
You say you're seeing all this stuff bubble up on social media. Well, let me take the ultimate example, what remains the big taboo in society, which is anti-Semitism, right? Most of the Generation Trump, the alt-right people, the people who like me, they're not anti-Semites. They don't care about Jews. They may have some assumptions about Jews. They may have some prejudice about Jews, like the Jews run everything. Well, we do. The Jews run all the banks. Well, we do. The Jews run the media. Well, we do. You know, they're right about all that stuff. Now, what you do with that is the issue. But the reason they go on about...
I don't even know where to start with that, so just go.
We do. It's a fact. This is not in debate. It's a statistical fact. You know, Jews run most of the banks. Jews completely dominate the media, vastly disproportionately represented in all of these professions. That's just a fact. It's not anti-Semitic to point out statistics. I'm suggesting to you, it's not anti-Semitic to point out that these things are true.
A firestorm. What happened? What was the reaction?
The reaction was that people said this was outrageous. I found it stunningly offensive, Soledad. First of all, Jewish-owned press, the old anti-Semitic stereotype about Jews controlling the media, and then saying anti-Israel, Merrick's very pro-Israel. And somebody needs to keep this guy away from the Twitter.
Where he talks about the Jewish-owned media. Because as you said, that's like, come on, give us something that's not 100 years or thousands of years old and just flat wrong. But just to sort of lay out the elephant in the room.
And the system, meaning the record companies, totally took advantage of it. But this is very important, what we're fighting for. Because I'm tired, I'm really, really tired of the manipulation. I'm tired of how the press is manipulating everything that's been happening in this situation. They do not tell the truth. They're liars. They manipulate our history books. The history books are not true. It's a lie. The history books are lying. You need to know that. You must know that. All the forms of popular music, from jazz to hip hop to bebop to soul, you know, to you talk about the different dances, from the cakewalk to the jitterbug to the Charleston to break dancing. All these are forms of black dancing. The minute it became the all-time best-selling albums in history in the Guinness Book of World Records, overnight they called me a freak. They called me a homosexual. They called me a child molester. They said I tried to bleach my skin. They made everything to turn the public against me. This is all complete conspiracy. You have to know that. You know, it's time. I love you more. It's time for a change. And let's not leave this building and forget what has been said. Put it into your heart. Put it into your subconscious mind. And let's do something about it.
Now on to one of our other big stories. The king of pop has died. Michael Jackson, the pop music and dance innovator, passed away yesterday. Jackson appeared to have suffered from cardiac arrest. He was 50 years old.
So as many of you have heard by now, Prince has recently died. The former music icon has recently died, but his death is very suspicious. It has the words suspicion written all over it. Not only that, but it also has the words occult written all over it. But the interesting thing that takes it also further is that before he died, he gave one last tweet on Twitter. The last tweet that he put out on Twitter, which is now being removed by Twitter, he put the following. He tweeted saying, "Just when you thought you were safe," and ... Which means, just when you thought you were safe, that gives the impression you are not safe. Now, just as it is with most celebrity deaths, who knows, maybe they're going to come and say that he died of drug overdose. But we know better than that. We know that it's difficult to trust the mainstream media that we are being given, the information being given to us by the mainstream media. Exactly why this person died, we don't know the real truth. We're just going to take their words for it. However, based on what Prince is tweeting here, and from the suspicions that he's been basically portraying to the world, there's something fishy here, and we really can't trust what we are being presented with by the mainstream media.
No, we are trying to get ourselves to the point where we can establish what we would then call black culture. But we will no longer be victims of a system of racism and white supremacy. So once the system of racism and white supremacy has been replaced with a system of justice, that's when we will start talking about our culture. That's when we will begin talking about who we really are as black people.
Who are you? You don't know. Don't tell me Negro, that's nothing. What were you before the white man named you a Negro? And where were you? And what did you have? What was yours? What language did you speak then? What was your name? It couldn't have been Smith or Jones or Bunch or Powell. That wasn't your name. They don't have those kind of names where you and I came from. No, what was your name? And why don't you now know what your name was then? Where did it go? Where did you lose it? Who took it? And how did he take it? What tongue did you speak? How did the man take your tongue? Where is your history? How did the man wipe out your history? What did the man do to make you as dumb as you are right now?
Pilate said to them, "Shall I crucify your king?" The chief priests answered, "We have no king but Caesar." Then he delivered him to them to be crucified. So they took Yahshua and led him away. These statements made by the Jews really showed how far Israel strayed away from Elohim. First they said his blood was on their hands and on the hand of their children. And when Pilate said, "Shall I crucify your king?" the chief priests answered, "We have no king but Caesar." They proclaimed the heathen Gentile emperor over the king that the Most High sent for them. This is bad news. They laid hold of a certain man, Simon, a Cyrenian, who was coming from the country, and on him they laid the cross that he might bear it after Yahshua. And a great multitude of the people followed him, and the women who also mourned and lamented him. But Yahshua, turning to them, said, "Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. For indeed the days are coming, in which they will say, Blessed are the barren, wombs that never bore, and breasts which never nursed. Then they will begin to say to the mountains, Fall on us, and to the hills, Cover us. For if they do these things in the greenwood, what will be done in the dry?"
All right, now we know in the Mishnah, so written somewhere in a little after 200 of the Common Era, so traditions going back further than that, it's talking about the Jewish people in terms of their color. How are we described?
Right, so Rabbi Yehuda Nasi wrote the Mishnah. He was a direct descendant from the house of King David, and he was in charge of the passing on the law of the generation. Now, to have written down the oral law was forbidden for the Israelites. It was oral, meant to be taught father to son. He saw that we are already scattered around the whole world, and if we don't preserve this, we're going to lose it. So he chose to write it down, and it was called the Mishnah. In the Mishnah, he was speaking about the skin afflictions that happened to people in the times of the temple, and when he's speaking about the color of the skin, he references and says that the children of Israel were not white, and they were not black. They were boxwood. That's the word it was used, perhaps like the color of the table we're sitting at. And, you have to imagine he was saying the children of Israel. I think he was speaking about in past tense of who they were. At the time already that he was alive, you had great, Roman converts who became Torah scholars. Rabbi Akiva's father was a convert. Rabbi Akiva was one of the greatest sages ever. You had Onkelos, you had Shemaiah and Avtalion. These were masters on the Torah chain who were converts from Rome. On the Torah chain who were converts from Rome. So obviously there was
Yeah, big up everyone. You don't know me, I said respect and love. G-Terra checking in. I said that was a serious piece of video and a whole lot of good information to decipher and kind of look what's going on, so you could, you know, open up them other eyes, not just the eyes on the face. You know, you could open up the mental, the you know, the meditation eyes. You know what I'm saying? So you could see further what's going on in this world. Big up to also big up, special big up and shout out to Thoughts Camera Action. Boop, boop, boop. Shout out, subscribe to Thoughts Camera Action. Give them the support. I'm gonna drop a link in description. This middle finger is not for subscribers, fans, nor supporters, but for the evil people who intend to control all of the people's business in the world and control the minds of the youth and all the people out here who are just trying to do things to be great and be themselves. No schooling.